football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I had a chance, you guys know I was at the Ryan Tank fight, and co-main event was great. It was such a quick co-main event between David Morrell Jr. and Yamagaki Falcao that I didn't even see it live. I was in the bathroom. I went to the bathroom while David Morrell was beating up on Yamagaki Falcao, so I didn't get to see the sensational knockout in the flesh, but I saw it on the replay, and good for Morrell. Morrell once again shows the world why he is one of the most talked about young fighters in boxing today. Southpaw, power puncher, a lot of speed, a lot of great things going on with David Morrell. Tall, long, creative, just a fun fighter to watch. One of them guys that really makes you excited to be a boxing fan, right? And he's a guy that only has, what is it now, like 9 or 10 fights, but he's already fighting like a guy who's a 20-fight veteran, 30-fight veteran. His level of poise and ring savvy far exceeds the amount of rounds and the amount of professional bouts that he's had. So because of that, a lot of people are clamoring for David Morrell Jr. to fight, David Benavidez next. Now, I made a video about that recently after Benavidez beat Caleb Plant, that I just feel like they're not far off of it's not far off of when that fight should happen, but it's still, in my estimation, just a tad bit too early, because I think David Morrell needs to fight at least, someone that's like a top 5 168 pounder. I feel like that would get him to be at his optimum best for David Benavidez. But with that being said, I respect the ambition. I respect the fact that he's doing what he can to try and make the big fights happen. Morrell's in a weird position, right? Because I'm going to explain it to you guys. Morrell's in a very odd position because he's at 168 where Canelo has all the belts. He's basically the secondary champion, the regular champion. Canelo has the real belt. And I like the way Ronnie Shields, his trainer, put it. Ronnie Shields put it brilliantly when he said that David Morrell's kind of been like Canelo's hitman. Canelo Alvarez is picking and choosing who he wants to fight. And David Morrell's fighting the guys that, if David Morrell wasn't there, would be Canelo's mandatory challengers, right? So that being said, it's got to be annoying for Morrell because he really is not he's not anywhere in the picture. I mean, you got Bivol, who Canelo wants to fight because he got exposed by him. You're right. I said exposed out here in Japan, but I'm not going to say it too loud because in Japan, they don't like it when you yell and you're loud. In fact, I'm already being kind of loud by Japanese standards, right? But so he wants that get back, and he should, being the proud fighter he is. He should want to fight Demetrius Bivol after the boxing lesson he got from him last year. After that fight, he wants to fight, or if that fight doesn't happen, then the fight that most boxing fans are clamoring for is David Benavidez, right? So he's not even option number 2, even though he's got the regular belt and he's had it for a little bit of time now. So the only way Morrell is getting his hands on the WBA belt, or a shot at it, as far as I'm concerned, is if Canelo vacates the belts, and that doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon. Now, Canelo Alvarez, he's gonna be fighting John Ryder May the 6th. What I personally think, and this is what I would propose. This is just me, right? This is what I would propose as the unofficial commissioner of boxing, your boy BT, the Untouchable True School Sports Empire. Coming to you live and direct from Ota City, Tokyo, Japan, but by way of South Florida. Okay. Benavidez just fought Plant, right? The way I see it, there's two fights out there for Morrell, apart from Benavidez, that I think would be very ideal for him to really start making his name known to the boxing world. The first fight, I think, would be a fight with David Morrell and Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant, former 168-pound champion. A guy that has a lot of credibility in this division. He's fought Benavidez, he's fought Canelo, made some defenses. It's good to have that name on your resume. Whether or not Caleb Plant fights him is a whole different story, because I know for a fact from interviews he's done and from hearing him talk about it that Caleb Plant wants to fight Jamal Charlo next. That's a fight he really wants, because he sees something in the Jamal Charlo style that he feels he can exploit, you know. So that'd be a good fight for him if he can get it. But I think even the more realistic fight, because I think both these fighters are both one and the same. I think David Morrell versus Demetrius Andrade is the way to go. Andrade just signed PBC. Andrade, much like Morrell, is a tall, you know, athletic, supremely talented, you know, southpaw, undefeated. That'd be great. If he can get an Andrade on his resume, then that's like the perfect storm before Benavidez fight. And then he can fight Benavidez. And then by that time, who knows? Maybe Canelo vacates and it's for a vacant title or whatever. But I think when it comes to the subject of Canelo Alvarez for David Morrell Jr. and Ian Benavidez, these guys gotta stop worrying about what Canelo's doing. Because the reality is, and my dad told me this a long time ago, when it comes to life, money talks and bullshit walks. And the guy that's generating the money for the sport and the industry and the sanctioning bodies, whether I like it or not, that's the guy that's gonna get all the favoritism. So unless Canelo gets to a point where, you know, he feels a need to fight David Morrell, which he's not, by the way, because I remember last year when I went to the, what was it, Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin fight in Miami, in South Florida. Canelo, that was the night Canelo showed up, and I started yelling at him. And when I yelled at him, I remember that same night I yelled at him, I saw David Morrell go talk to him. And David Morrell is huge. I mean, absolutely huge compared to Canelo. I mean, maybe, you know, everyone's huge compared to Canelo, but he's like really, really huge, and he's tall, and he's got power in both hands and speed. You know, that's not anything I think Canelo wants at this point in his career, because there's not enough money in it, you know, and he's in the field he has bigger fish to fry. So unless Gilberto Mendoza and the WBA start treating Canelo like, you know, the other champions in boxing, which they probably won't, we're going to have this whole hodgepodge of guys at 168 looking for big fights. And I just think, for me, the ideal fight for Morrell, the fight that I think he should call for, because I believe if he calls for it, if he really calls for it, he'll get it like quick. Like Benavidez is one thing. I know he called for that fight, and I know there's a good amount of boxing fans that want to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen, because if history tells us anything, go back and look at how long it took Samson Lukowicz to make David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. He didn't make that fight until it made the optimum business sense to make it. Now, David Morrell versus Demetrius Andrade, you know, could be a high-risk, low-reward type of fight, but Andrade, let's face it, inactive fighter, older fighter, smaller fighter, on the back nine. If Morrell really is as good as they say he is, right, then he should call for that fight. He should beat Demetrius Andrade. He should take his O, and he should pivot off that into the Morrell fight. I think that's the fight he needs to call for. Because I think we'll get it. I don't think PBC really has Andrade high on their priority list. I don't think they care about him. And I think Morrell can beat him, you know. So we'll see how it goes, man. But that's my take on Morrell. You know, Morrell versus Benavidez, amazing fight. If it happens for boxing, great. I'm not mad at it at all, because both those guys, I think, especially, well, Benavidez more than Morrell. Benavidez has been making his whole career based upon Canelo for way too long. He should have been at 175 already. And the same thing goes for Morrell. I mean, Morrell, he's a little earlier in his career than Benavidez, but I'd like to see him at 175 at some point too, because he's big enough to be a light heavyweight, you know, and there's some good fights out there in the light heavyweight division. But these are just my thoughts on Morrell. These are my thoughts on the 168 division and some of the aftermath of his win against Falcao. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys, you know, take the time to subscribe. Keep supporting True School Sports. I'm out here in Japan. I can't speak a lick of Japanese, so I ain't got no friends out here, but we're making it do what it do. But leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from dang it. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.